Aradhana was the eldest of three sisters, 15-year-old Diksha and Sandhya, 2 years her junior, living with their mother Pushpa Devi. At 20, Aradhana was finishing her BA when a call from her father Chamanlal's office shattered their world. He had suffered a fatal heart attack. Though his colleagues hurried him to the hospital, Chamanlal never regained consciousness. Pushpa Devi, frantic, took a taxi to the hospital and later, with help from neighbors, brought her husband's body home. In the aftermath, Aradhana rallied her younger sisters and held the household together while their mother grieved. Because Chamanlal had not completed 20 years of service, he was ineligible for a pension. His colleagues arranged the General Provident Fund and life insurance payout, 5 lakh rupees in all, which Pushpa immediately fixed in a deposit, determined to preserve it as her sole means of support in old age. Day after day, Pushpa cautioned her daughters, "Your father didn't qualify for a pension, and 5 lakhs won't stretch far. I'm not educated enough to work, soon I may not even afford your school fees." Hearing this repeatedly, Aradhana resolved to help. She began tutoring neighborhood children, using her earnings to fund her sisters and her own education. Upon completing her BA, Aradhana applied to AIMGAIM, a prestigious private school. School management president Yogesh Puri learned of her circumstances during the interview, praised her courage, and recommended hiring her. Lacking Bachelor of Education degree, she was assigned nursery and UKG classes but quickly proved herself. News of Aradhana's appointment brought relief and joy to the household. Immersed in the school's English environment, she embraced a modern outlook and soon received marriage proposals from well-to-do families. Yet whenever Pushpa met potential grooms, she found fault and rejected each match. Undeterred, Aradhana continued evening tutoring and put her savings toward Diksha's BA and Bachelor of Education. Meanwhile, through distance learning, Aradhana herself earned degrees of MA in English and Bachelor of Education. She advanced to teaching upper grades, and her salary rose substantially. Miss Mary, the vice principal and Aradhana's longtime friend, one day chided her gently, "You are educated, accomplished, and from a respected family. Why remain unmarried at 30? Delay much longer, and you might stay single forever." Aradhana fell silent. She felt as though someone had reopened the wounds in her heart. Since Miss Mary was her principal, it was impossible for her to take offense at her words, and, in that moment, Maria's remark even seemed fair. Aradhana stayed quiet for a long while, then, breaking her silence with an embarrassed smile, said, "I don't have the marriage line on my palm. Marriage happens according to what's written in one's destiny." "It seems to me," Miss Mary pressed on, "that these ideas are taught to you by your mother. Every prospective groom's family who's met her says the same thing, that your mother won't let you marry." "If you know everything," Aradhana retorted, "why lecture me, ma'am? Don't take offense, I care for you like an elder sister." Aradhana fell silent, wounded yet unable to resent Mary. That afternoon, Aradhana returned home to a festooned house. Stepping inside, she found Diksha in Aradhana's own bridal suit, garments and jewelry Aradhana had long assembled for her wedding. Speechless, Aradhana asked, "Diksha, why are you dressed like this?" Mother cleared her throat slightly, then began, "Listen, dear, this was a few days ago. A proposal came for Diksha." Pushpa motioned her to sit on the cot and explained. "I refused, saying my eldest daughter must marry first. But today, just after you left for school, the Pandit's 4 houses down arrived with Mohit's proposal for Diksha. Relatives advised me to accept the first match. 3 daughters are hard to marry off. They want an immediate, simple wedding to save expenses on both sides. That's why I didn't tell you." Aradhana bristled. "You could have discussed this with me first." Pushpa snapped back, "I'm your mother, not a servant to report every detail to. And the dowry you'd set aside? It all goes to Diksha. Tonight at 4, they will arrive with 50 guests. Withdraw the money from the ATM, arrange tea and refreshments." Mohit had been watching her from the rooftop for years, and she often found herself climbing up to catch a glimpse of him. That small hope now seemed empty. Stung by Mohit's betrayal, he had once courted her. Aradhana said nothing. Aradhana thought it best to remain silent in that moment. She felt angry at Mohit's betrayal, thinking, if Mohit didn't want to marry me, he shouldn't have, but he certainly shouldn't have married my sister. When Diksha's friend Sania offered to fetch the cash on her TVS scooter, Sania's house stood between Mohit's and Aradhana's homes. She often stayed at Diksha's place and knew many of the family's affairs. Aradhana climbed aboard and asked, Sania, you were there when Mohit and his parents came, what exactly happened? Sister, you have no idea what's been happening since this morning, Sania replied. What's going on? You've got to tell me, Aradhana urged. Sania hesitated, then confided. At 12 noon, Mohit Bhiya came to your house with his parents. I was right there. They had come to ask for your hand in marriage for Mohit Bhiya, but... Sania trailed off and fell silent. I swear I won't tell anyone. Please trust me, Aradhana promised. Sania drew a deep breath and began. A few days ago, when Mohit Bhiya got a teaching job at a government school, my mother went to his house to congratulate him. There, Mohit Bhiya's mother said to my mother, Mohit wants to marry Aradhana, so please talk to Pushpa. What did your mother say then? Aradhana asked eagerly. My mother spoke to your mother, but she refused outright and even said, don't even dream of Aradhana, pick whoever you like, Diksha or Sandhya. And I will give her 2 lakh rupees separately as dowry, Sania explained. Then what did your mother reply? Aradhana asked in surprise. My mother spoke with Mehta auntie, and this morning she came together with my mother to talk. It was decided that we would use all of your dowry, the jewelry, clothes, and other items you had been saving up, and have a simple wedding so that all the unnecessary expenses on both sides would be avoided. That's why the wedding is set for tonight, and that's why you weren't told, Sania said, tears welling in her eyes. Aradhana was left stunned. Her tears wouldn't stop flowing. Neighbors had always told her, your mother turns down every proposal for you, but she'd never imagined her mother could be so petty and selfish. Sister, my mom and dad were talking at home and saying that Pushpa auntie is very greedy. The 5 lakh rupees she got after your father passed away, she put it all into a fixed deposit. Since your dad works at the post office, everyone knows about it. They were even saying that last year those 5 lakhs grew into 10 lakhs, and your mother put that into a fixed deposit, too, and now she has you running the household expenses, Sania blurted out. Unable to keep anything to herself. Aradhana had just wiped away her tears when her mother's call came in. Her mother's summons followed. Hello, Aradhana, hurry up and bring the money. All the wedding items have arrived, and people are waiting to collect their share. A little flustered, Aradhana replied, there was a traffic jam on the way, so I'm running late. I'm just about to leave with the money now, she lied. Suppressing her grief somehow, Aradhana took on all the wedding responsibilities and never let her mother suspect a thing. She took a few days off and performed the rituals and all the related ceremonies with complete sincerity. All the dowry she had lovingly assembled ended up going to her younger sister. Aradhana brought some sweets to school and treated everyone. Her colleagues were both happy and unhappy, happy for the celebration, but unhappy because Aradhana had turned 30 and her mother had married off her younger sister before her. When Aradhana arrived at Miss Meyer's office with the box of sweets, Miss Mary exclaimed, Aradhana, Aradhana, Aradhana. Yes, ma'am, Aradhana replied with a smile. Aradhana, your mother simply won't let you get married. We've sent so many proposals to your home, but your mother never once said yes to your marriage, and the entire staff knows it, Miss Mary said with a sorrowful look. Let it be, ma'am, Aradhana replied. If it's not in my destiny, why regret it? It's not necessary that everyone must settle down. Perhaps God has written something else for me, or maybe I'd be even unhappier after marriage. That's why I believe whatever happens is for the best, she said with a smile. Please have some sweets. My sisters and mother are very happy, so I am happy too. At that moment, Aradhana couldn't keep the tears from welling up in her eyes. Mary, ever protective, offered, "Let me place a discreet matrimonial ad for you. Your mother won't learn. I'll handle everything from my home." Just as Aradhana was about to reply, the phone rang. Mary answered, "Yes, sir? Oh my God, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. I'll be right there," and then she hung up. "What happened, ma'am? Is everything okay?" Aradhana asked in surprise. "Nothing is okay. Today was the day our president, Mr. Yogesh Puri's eldest son Anand Puri's wife, was due to deliver. They'd been married in a huge, lavish ceremony just last year. At 10 this morning, after giving birth to her daughter, the mother fainted. A short while later she slipped into a coma, and just now we received a call from the principal that she has passed away," Mary said, her eyes filling with tears. The entire school was dismissed to attend the funeral rites. With that, Mary hurried off to the principal's office. The entire school was dismissed, and all the staff made their way to Yogesh Puri's house. That night, as she lay down to sleep, Aradhana thought, Yogesh Puri is one of the richest men in the city. He has only one son, Anand Puri, whose business reaches overseas. In appearance, he's tall, handsome, and smart, as if God left nothing undone. Their home is no less than a palace. And they're such good-natured people, yet they couldn't save their daughter-in-law. A one-day-old baby girl will be left motherless. God even gives such sorrow to those who lack nothing, so my pain is nothing compared to theirs. It's only right that the poor bear a little suffering. Thinking this, Aradhana felt her own grief ease and fell asleep, thanking God. Finally, the day of the rites arrived, and the entire school staff once more gathered at Mr. Yogesh Puri's home. After the ceremonies were completed, Yogesh Puri's wife, Radha Puri, came and sat down among the teachers. One by one, they all asked about her daughter. Radha Puri explained, without her mother, the baby keeps crying in the servants' care. The ayah can't manage to comfort her all the time. I'm so busy, and at my age, raising a child is very difficult. Then what did you decide, ma'am? Should we arrange Bhaiya's second marriage? One of the women teachers asked. I know it's hardly the right time to discuss this, but please understand our predicament. We will have to find Anand a new wife, she said, then fell silent. Many educated and well-to-do families have been coming forward with proposals for my son, but my son doesn't want a wife, he wants a mother for his child. For that reason, none of these matches seem suitable, said Radha Puri. Miss Mary was about to speak when her attention shifted to Aradhana, who stood a little apart. Aradhana gently lifted the crying baby from the ayah's arms into her own, and within moments the infant fell silent. Seeing this, Miss Mary, the other staff members, and Radha Puri all watched in admiration as Aradhana cradled the child with loving care. One by one, they recounted Aradhana's tragic life story to Mrs. Radha. Everyone hoped that Aradhana herself would become the child's mother. Radha Puri felt that, since this was her own school staff, no one would give her bad advice, and that it would be nearly impossible to find another girl who had endured as much sorrow as Aradhana. At that moment, Radha Puri went to Yogesh Puri, led him into an inner room, and recounted the entire saga, then called her son in and asked for his opinion. When everyone consented, Mary was asked to speak with Aradhana. It was impossible for Aradhana to refuse Maria's proposal. She could never dream of living in such a grand house, even in 10 lifetimes. Yet she also wondered how her mother and sisters would manage without her salary. She knew her mother actually had over ₹1 million saved, because she took all of Aradhana's pay and tutoring fees and only gave her enough each month for her own expenses. After a few days, meetings between Aradhana and Anand were arranged. Slowly their visits increased and blossomed into love. Aradhana began coming to his home regularly with Anand and never let the baby be apart from her. The little girl, in turn, started seeking her mother in Aradhana's embrace. Though Aradhana's own mother had never shown her affection, Aradhana now, as a mother herself, longed to shower all her love on this child who would be hers. Finally, Yogesh Puri and Radha Puri arrived at Pushpa's house with the marriage proposal. Pushpa flatly refused, saying, "My daughter will not marry a man who is already married." When Aradhana came home from school, Pushpa forced her to resign from her position at the school. The next day, Aradhana went to school carrying her resignation letter. When she returned, she stepped out of a Rolls-Royce dressed in bridal attire, with Anand by her side. Standing in the street among several women, she pointed toward Pushpa and said to Anand, "Greet my mother." With great respect, Anand touched Pushpa's feet. Everyone was stunned. One bystander murmured, "This is what they call destiny." Another added, "When daughters are fortunate." Even the neighbors themselves welcomed the bride and groom into her mother's home. Some people fetched tea, others brought sweets or cold drinks. Pushpa didn't get a chance to say a single word.